sometimes it's really difficult to judge how long the bonnet offers your car, and especially if you're in one of these double bays where there's a line of base for you and then there's a line of base facing you with a line in the middle. You don't want to go too far forward, obviously, because you're going to get too close to the car in front. So where do you stop? Again, until you've done it so long that it feels natural, you can have a nice physical reference point just to give you that confidence and feeling of security. So for me, I just look physically at the bottom of my wing mirror, so not even the glass bit, the casing of your wing mirror, so the plastic surrounding. I know that when the bottom part of that plastic surrounding just sits just above the end line of your bay, maybe with a tiny gap between where my normal driving position is and the end of the line, then I know my bonnet's 6 inches from the end of the bay, and I know the back of my car is in the bay. So it's a really simple, practical method of knowing that you're confident, not going too far forward. Obviously, every car's different. I would just go into a car park when it's nice and quiet, there's nothing around, and just have a play. Go into a bay, use that method with your wing mirrors, and make sure you're safe. Put your handbrake on, put it in neutral, get out, have a look and see how near your front of your car is to your bay, and you might just move it forward a couple of inches at a time. Keep getting out and having a look. When you're satisfied that you've got that nice, safe, whatever it is, 10-inch gap between you and the end line, then sit back in your car and don't change your position, but from your normal relaxed driving position, just have a look at where the end line, or the curb if there's not another bay, but the end of the bay, where that looks in relation to something physical on your car. So I use my wing mirrors because obviously they're so visible and stick out. It's really easy to use them rather than, I don't know, a mark on the side of your door, but either would work. So if I was sat in here now, there may be somewhere where, you know, your door handle corresponds with a line, so you could use that, or you know, or even part of your dashboard, where part of your dashboard sits on that line. But I just use my wing mirrors. But you know, you'll be able to have a look at something that's obviously not going to change. And when you've got that position, just have a look at it, reverse out, have another go, and make sure that you can park perfectly every single time. And just use that, you know, 10 minutes or so of practice, because it pays dividends, so you will never have to worry again when you go forwards into a bay. And then it takes the pressure off. But confidence comes from just that little bit of practice when there's nothing around. Slowness of your car, that's absolutely key, the slowness of your car. So just, if you can, practice, again, middle of the night or when it's really quiet, there's nothing around, just practice that tiny little bit of clutch rise, just so you can feel your car moving. And keep it as slow as that, and then you can just literally drop your clutch again and the car will stop. Or you can just help it with a tiny bit of braking with your right foot, but have those feet over those two left pedals. Don't worry about the gas unless it's on an incline. You might have to get a little bit of a bind point if you're going uphill, otherwise forget about the gas, and go as slow as you can, and that should make you feel a lot more comfortable about going into these tight little spots, worrying about, oh, am I going to clip a car? You know, you won't do if you start nice and left and you've got a long time to look at it. You don't get it right first time, you don't get it right first time. But at least you've gone wide and you're going slow, so you can realise, you know what, that's not quite right. Make sure you're safe by having a look around. Come back again and have another go. But as I say, slow speed, feet position, observations, and if you're turning right, whatever you do before you start, encroach on the right hand side, look over your right shoulder. If you've got mobility issues and you find it difficult, then just take that time to have a little stop. Use, you know, your armrest on your door to shift your position over onto your right buttock, so you can easily, or more easily, look round that side, but you really need to look that way, so you've got the confidence that you're not going to come into conflict with something when in effect you're crossing their path. But just take your time. If you have to park on the left instead of the right, it's exactly the same reference points and methods that we've talked about. But again, take your time, just have a good look around and make sure you're not getting in anyone's way, because you've got to give way to everybody. And again, if you're going to park on the left, steer all the way over to the right hand side of that carriageway, so in effect the wrong side of the road. Get as far away from the bay as you can before you start doing that steering to go left this time, and before you go that way, have a good look over your left shoulder this time, so no one's undercutting you, to keep it totally safe. But again, just do the same method, and once you've had a go a few times, you should find it gets easier and easier.